Good evening, dear listeners, and welcome to a tranquil sanctuary of sound, where the gentle whispers of history will guide you into a peaceful night's rest. As you settle into your cozy space, I invite you to let go of the day's worries and embrace the soothing embrace of this calming narrative. Tonight, we will embark on a journey into a remarkably unique and, perhaps to some, an unexpectedly dull corner of history, the Byzantine imperial couch cushion fluffing timetables and fabric care guidelines. Picture yourself in the heart of the Byzantine Empire, surrounded by the soft glow of candlelight and the hushed murmurs of court life. Here, amidst the opulent palaces and intricate mosaics, we will uncover the surprisingly meticulous world of couch cushion care, a task that was both a reflection of imperial status and an essential aspect of daily life. As we delve into this history, imagine the soft rustle of fabric as royal attendants move gracefully, ensuring that every cushion is plumped to perfection, creating a serene and inviting space for the emperors and empresses of yore. We will explore how these seemingly mundane routines were intertwined with the grandeur and decorum of the Byzantine court, allowing you to appreciate the artistry behind every fluff. Next, we will gently transition into the fabric care guidelines that were meticulously established to preserve the luxurious textiles that adorned the Byzantine thrones and couches. You will learn about the delicate methods employed to maintain the vibrant colors and intricate patterns that told stories of wealth and power. As we navigate through the intricate details of washing, drying, and storing these precious fabrics, allow the rhythmic cadence of the words to lull you into a serene state of relaxation. Throughout our time together, you may find yourself drifting in and out of consciousness, and that is perfectly alright. This journey is designed to soothe your mind and spirit, inviting you to embrace the tranquility of the past while you rest. Let the gentle ebb and flow of history carry you away from the clamor of the modern world, enveloping you in a comforting cocoon of knowledge and calm. So, dear listeners, as we prepare to embark on this unusual yet soothing exploration, I encourage you to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and allow the weight of the day to melt away. Let the soft cadence of my voice wrap around you like a warm blanket, protecting you from the stress of the outside world. Remember, there is no rush. We have all the time in the world to leisurely meander through the cushions of history. With each word, may you find yourself sinking deeper into relaxation, allowing the rich tapestry of Byzantine life to unfold in your imagination. There is beauty in the mundane, and within these timetables and guidelines lies a hidden depth that is both intriguing and restorative. Now, let us gently drift into the heart of our tale, as we uncover the fascinating yet calming world of Byzantine imperial couch cushion fluffing timetables and fabric care guidelines. Prepare to be lulled into a delightful reverie as we begin this enchanting journey together. The history of Byzantine imperial couch cushion fluffing timetables and fabric care guidelines spans several centuries, emerging from the complex socio-political milieu of the Eastern Roman Empire. The earliest known documentation regarding fluffing schedules and fabric maintenance can be traced back to the reign of Emperor Justinian I, who ruled from 527 to 565 CE. It was during this period that the intricate relationship between domestic aesthetics and imperial authority began to crystallize. In the year 532 CE, in the capital city of Constantinople, the imperial palace, known as the Great Palace of Constantinople, served not only as the residence of the emperor but also as a focal point for the Byzantine elite's domestic practices. The architectural layout of the palace featured numerous rooms adorned with luxurious textiles, including silk cushions that required meticulous care to maintain their visual and tactile quality. The significance of cushion maintenance was underscored by the prevailing belief that a well-kept imperial residence reflected the moral and political virtue of its ruler. The earliest recorded guidelines regarding the fluffing of cushions appeared in a manuscript attributed to the court official Procopius of Caesarea. In The Secret History, written circa 550 CE, Procopius mentions the necessity of daily fluffing to ensure that the cushions retained their shape and comfort. He notes, the cushions, when set upon the thrones, must be fluffed in accordance with an established timetable to maintain the dignity of the emperor. Though this document primarily focuses on the political intricacies of the empire, it also highlights the importance of domestic aesthetics in the context of imperial representation. By the 7th century, under the reign of Emperor Heraclius, 610 to 641 CE, more formalized procedures began to emerge. Heraclius, known for his military campaigns and administrative reforms, recognized the need for a structured approach to domestic maintenance. In the year 618 CE, he issued an edict detailing the specific intervals at which cushions were to be fluffed, mandating that the cushions in the imperial chambers be attended to twice daily, once in the morning before the emperor's audience and again in the evening prior to his retirement. The architectural details of the imperial audience chamber, situated within the Great Palace, further illuminate the context in which these guidelines were applied. The chamber, known as the Chrysotriclinos, featured a domed ceiling adorned with intricate mosaics depicting scenes of imperial grandeur. The luxurious silk cushions, often embroidered with gold thread, were strategically placed upon the ornate thrones to enhance the aesthetic appeal of the setting. The procedures for fluffing these cushions were not solely about comfort, they were imbued with a deeper significance relating to the visual representation of imperial authority. In terms of fabric care, the Byzantine elite adhered to a rigorous set of guidelines that were codified in the 9th century during the reign of Emperor Basil I, 867 to 886 CE. Basil, recognizing the importance of textile preservation, established a committee composed of skilled artisans and domestic overseers tasked with developing comprehensive fabric care protocols. This committee produced a detailed manual that outlined appropriate cleaning methods, recommended materials for repair, and specified acceptable storage conditions for different types of textiles. The manual emphasized the use of natural cleaning agents, such as olive oil and vinegar, which were favored for their effectiveness in maintaining the luster of silk without causing damage. Furthermore, it recommended specific drying techniques, advising against direct sunlight exposure, which could lead to fading and deterioration of the fabric. The meticulous nature of these guidelines reflects the broader cultural values of the Byzantine Empire, wherein aesthetics were deeply intertwined with notions of virtue and propriety. The administration of cushion fluffing practices involved a daily routine that was strictly adhered to by the palace staff. The designated domestic servants, referred to as cushion attendants, were responsible for executing the prescribed fluffing timetable. Each day commenced with an early morning ritual, wherein the attendants would enter the imperial chambers at dawn, equipped with In the annals of Byzantine history, the construction methods and materials utilized in the crafting of imperial couch cushions are of paramount importance, albeit often overlooked. The Byzantine Empire, spanning from 330 AD to 1453 AD, was characterized by its sophisticated artisanal practices. The couch cushions were typically constructed with a foundation of durable materials such as linen or wool, which were preferred for their resilience and ability to withstand the rigors of imperial use. The cushion's core was often filled with natural fibers, primarily down feathers from geese, which provided a soft yet supportive seating experience. Historical records indicate that between the years 500 AD and 600 AD, the average cushion measured approximately 60 centimeters in length, 40 centimeters in width, and 15 centimeters in thickness. This dimension allowed for adequate support while maintaining a low profile that fitted seamlessly into the ornate couches of the imperial chambers. In terms of maintenance procedures, the Byzantine court established a regimented timetable for the fluffing and care of these cushions. It is recorded that every Tuesday and Friday, specifically at the hour of the sixth bell, approximately 11 a.m., a designated team of attendants would engage in the fluffing of cushions. This process involved a meticulous shaking and beating of the cushions to redistribute the filling evenly and restore their loftiness. The attendants employed wooden mallets, measuring roughly 30 centimeters in length, to achieve the desired fluffiness without damaging the fabric. Furthermore, it was paramount to maintain the aesthetic integrity of the cushion covers. These covers were often made from richly dyed silk or brocade, embellished with intricate patterns that reflected the artistic styles of the time. Care guidelines stipulated that the covers be removed and washed biannually, specifically in the months of April and October, using a mixture of water and a mild soap derived from olive oil. The temperature of the water was advised to be no higher than 30 degrees Celsius to prevent damage to the fabric. Financial records from the period indicate that the cost of fabric for a single cushion cover could range from 2 to 5 solidi, depending on the complexity of the design and the quality of the silk used. For instance, in 1025 AD, an inventory list from the imperial treasury reveals that 150 solidi were allocated for the purchase of silk from the renowned city of Antioch, known for its high-quality textile production. The records further indicate that an average of 40 cushions were in active use at the imperial palace at any given time, leading to substantial annual expenditures on both materials and labor. The personnel involved in the upkeep of these cushions were known as cushion attendants, a position that, while seemingly trivial, carried significant implications within the court hierarchy. These attendants were typically drawn from the lower ranks of the imperial household staff and were trained in the art of cushion care, which included not only the fluffing and cleaning of the cushions but also basic sewing skills for minor repairs. Job descriptions, as detailed in a codex from the year 1071 AD, outlined the expectations and responsibilities of these attendants, emphasizing the importance of discretion, as they often worked in close proximity to the imperial family. The technical specifications for the cushions were outlined in a series of guidelines known as the Imperial Cushion Codex, compiled around 1150 AD. This codex detailed the required measurements, materials, and maintenance schedules. Specifically, It stated that each cushion must have a minimum filling weight of 0.5 kilograms of down feathers and that the fabric used for the outer cover should have a thread count of no less than 300 threads per square decimeter. Moreover, the Codex stipulated that any repairs made to the cushions must utilize thread dyed to match the original fabric color, ensuring that the integrity of the cushion's appearance remained intact. The document also included instructions for the seasonal airing of the cushions, which required them to be placed outdoors on a sunny day, preferably in the month of June, for a period of no less than 4 hours to eliminate any odors and restore freshness. In conclusion, the dull history of Byzantine imperial couch cushion fluffing timetables and fabric care guidelines reveals a microcosm of the Byzantine Empire's broader social and economic fabric. Through meticulous attention to construction methods, maintenance procedures, financial records, personnel specifications, and technical guidelines, the seemingly mundane practice of cushion care underscores the intricate interplay between daily life and imperial representation. Such historical accounts, while devoid of dramatic flair, provide invaluable insights into the values and operational intricacies of one of history's most enduring empires. In the annals of Byzantine history, the construction methods and materials utilized in the crafting of imperial couch cushions are of paramount importance, albeit often overlooked. The Byzantine Empire, spanning from 330 AD to 1453 AD, was characterized by its sophisticated artisanal practices, which extended beyond the mere creation of functional objects to embody the empire's rich cultural and social heritage. The couch cushions, often a symbol of luxury and comfort in the opulent palaces of Constantinople, were meticulously crafted with both aesthetic appeal and durability in mind. The primary foundation of these cushions typically consisted of durable materials such as linen or wool. Linen, derived from the flax plant, was favored for its strength and smooth texture. Wool, on the other hand, provided warmth and resilience, making it a popular choice for cushions that needed to endure the wear and tear of daily use in imperial settings. Historical records suggest that by the 6th century, the use of linen became more widespread, as it allowed for greater versatility in design and comfort. One notable example from the Byzantine era is the luxurious cushions found in the Great Palace of Constantinople, constructed during the reign of Emperor Justinian I, 527 to 565 AD. These cushions were notable not only for their size but also for their intricate designs, often embroidered with gold thread and adorned with precious stones. The use of such embellishments highlighted the wealth and power of the emperor, while also serving as a testament to the skilled artisans of the time. The process of creating these lavish couch cushions was intricate and labor-intensive. Artisans would start by selecting the finest textiles, often sourced from the thriving trade routes that connected the Byzantine Empire to regions such as Egypt and Persia. The fabric would then be treated to enhance its durability. For instance, linen could be bleached and softened through a meticulous washing process that involved soaking and beating the fibers. This ensured that the final product was not only visually appealing but also comfortable for the emperor and his guests. Once the fabric was prepared, the artisans would cut it into the desired shapes and sizes, often creating larger cushions that could accommodate multiple people or be arranged in elaborate formations on thrones or couches. The filling of these cushions was another critical aspect of their construction. Historically, the construction methods and materials utilized in the production of Byzantine imperial couch cushions during the period from the 4th to the 15th centuries can be characterized by a predictable adherence to local craftsmanship and available resources. The predominant fabric employed for upholstery was a variety of silk known as burlap silk, silk woven with a coarse, sturdy texture, which was often dyed in rich hues extracted from natural pigments. The dyeing process, particularly in the 10th century, involved the use of madder root for reds, indigo for blues, and various plant-based sources for greens and yellows, with the dyeing baths typically maintained at a temperature of 70 degrees Celsius to ensure the proper absorption of colors. The cushions themselves were constructed using a core of coir, coconut husk fiber, which was favored for its resilience and ability to maintain shape over time. The dimensions of these cushions averaged approximately 60 centimeters in width and 45 centimeters in depth, with a thickness that varied between 15 to 20 centimeters depending on the desired plushness. The exterior fabric was often embellished with intricate embroidery, featuring motifs that symbolized imperial authority, such as eagles and intertwined vines, which were typically executed in gold and silver threads. Maintenance procedures for these luxurious cushions were meticulously documented in various imperial edicts and household manuals. The primary maintenance schedule prescribed a weekly fluffing of the cushions, which required the use of a specialized tool known as the fluffer, a wooden rod with a rounded end measuring 30 centimeters in length. The fluffing process was designed to redistribute the coir and maintain the cushion's voluminous appearance. Additionally, cushions were to be rotated every month to prevent uneven wear, a practice that contributed to their longevity. Cleaning of the cushions was a sensitive task, as improper handling could lead to irreversible damage. The standard procedure recommended utilizing a soft bristled brush made from goat hair, which had a diameter of approximately 5 centimeters. This brush was employed to gently remove dust and debris, with the stroke direction specified as from the center outwards to avoid damaging the fabric. In cases where deeper cleaning was required, a solution of lukewarm water mixed with a small amount of olive oil soap was to be applied delicately using a damp cloth, followed by a thorough drying period of no less than 24 hours in a shaded area to prevent color fading. Financial records from the 12th century reveal that the costs associated with the production and maintenance of these cushions were meticulously accounted for in the imperial treasury. A detailed ledger from the year 1142 indicates that the expenditure on a single cushion, including materials and labor, totaled approximately 8 solidi, which represented a significant investment considering the average monthly wage of a skilled craftsman at the time was around 3 solidi. The records also highlight the procurement of raw materials, such as silk and coir, which fluctuated in price based on regional availability and trade routes. For instance, silk from the city of Antioch was recorded at 1 solidus per meter in 1150, while coir was acquired at a rate of 0.5 solidi per kilogram. The personnel involved in the production and maintenance of these cushions were categorized into distinct roles, each with specific job descriptions that reflected the hierarchical nature of Byzantine society. The primary artisan, known as the cushion maker, cushionarius, was responsible for the overall design and assembly of the cushions. This individual typically underwent a 5-year apprenticeship, during which they learned the intricacies of fabric selection, stitching techniques, and the application of decorative elements. The cushion maker was supported by a team of assistants, referred to as fluffers, whose duties included fluffing and maintaining the cushions, as well as preparing the materials required for the cushion-making process. In addition to these roles, there existed a designated cleaning attendant whose responsibilities extended to the upkeep of the cushions within the imperial household. This individual was tasked with following the maintenance procedures outlined by the household manual, ensuring that the cushions remained in pristine condition for use during official gatherings. The cleaning attendant was typically a female employee selected from within the ranks of household servants, reflecting the gender division of labor prevalent in Byzantine society. Technical specifications for the cushions were rigorously defined in various imperial statutes. For instance, an edict issued by Emperor John II Komnenos in the year 1118 stipulated that all imperial cushions must conform to specific standards of quality and construction. Each cushion was mandated to have a minimum of 3 layers of coir, with the outer layer being at least 1.5 centimeters thick to guarantee durability. Furthermore, the embroidery threads were required to be of a minimum tensile strength of 300 grams per millimeter to ensure that decorative elements would not fray or wear over time. The guidelines also extended to the types of embroidery patterns permitted on imperial cushions. The use of geometric patterns was favored for its representation of order and stability, while floral designs were often reserved for personal use by members of the imperial family. The regulations specified that any use of animal motifs must reflect the status of the cushion's intended user, with lions, eagles, and other regal symbols being reserved for the emperor and empress. In summary, the Byzantine imperial couch cushion fluffing timetables and fabric care guidelines, while perhaps lacking in the excitement of military conquests or religious schisms, provide a thorough insight into the domestic life of the empire. From the construction methods and materials to maintenance procedures, financial records, personnel descriptions, and technical specifications, the attention to detail in these mundane aspects of life underscores the empire's commitment to both domestic aesthetics and the practicalities of maintaining such luxuries. This historical account, though seemingly trivial, contributes to a more comprehensive understanding of the cultural and social fabric of the Byzantine Empire, illustrating that even the most ordinary tasks could reflect the grandeur of an imperial dynasty. The construction methods and materials utilized in the production of Byzantine imperial couch cushions during the period from the 4th to the 15th centuries can be characterized by a predictable adherence to local craftsmanship and available resources. The predominant fabric employed for upholstery was a variety of silk known as burlap silk, silk woven with a coarse, sturdy texture, which was often dyed in rich hues extracted from natural pigments. The dyeing process, particularly in the 10th century, became a sophisticated art form, with dyers experimenting with various natural sources such as madder root for reds, indigo for blues, and saffron for yellows. These vibrant colors were not merely decorative, they symbolized social status and wealth in Byzantine culture. Construction of these cushions typically began with a frame made from durable hardwood such as oak or walnut, both of which were readily available in the eastern Mediterranean. This wood was often sourced from local forests, and its quality was paramount, as it had to support the weight of the occupants and withstand daily use. The frame would be constructed in a society as bureaucratically intricate as the Byzantine Empire. Record-keeping played a vital role in the effective management of cushion fluffing practices. The meticulous documentation of fluffing schedules, material inventories, and compliance with imperial edicts was essential for maintaining order and ensuring adherence to established guidelines. The primary method of record-keeping involved the use of tabulae, clay tablets inscribed with cuneiform-like characters, which recorded essential information pertaining to the care of cushions. These tablets were often housed in the offices of local magistrates, who were responsible for overseeing the enforcement of fluffing regulations. Each household was required to submit monthly reports detailing their compliance with the fluffing timetable, the materials used, and any deviations from the prescribed guidelines. In addition to clay tablets, parchment scrolls began to emerge as a preferred medium for record-keeping in the later centuries of the empire. These scrolls allowed for greater flexibility in documenting information and became especially useful for tracking the supply chain of materials. Aristocratic households often employed scribes to maintain their records, ensuring that every instance of fluffing was noted, along with the condition of the cushions before and after care. The advent of more advanced record-keeping techniques coincided with the rise of the Byzantine bureaucracy, leading to the establishment of specialized offices tasked with the oversight of domestic care practices. By the 12th century, the Cushion Bureau emerged as a formal institution, responsible for the collection and analysis of data related to fluffing practices across the empire. This bureau was instrumental in developing standardized guidelines and served as a resource for citizens seeking to maintain their cushions in accordance with imperial expectations. In conclusion, the historical trajectory of the Byzantine imperial couch cushion fluffing timetables and fabric care guidelines is a richly layered narrative that encompasses regional variations, evolutionary changes, bureaucratic regulations, supply chain complexities, and meticulous record-keeping methods. Each facet of this history sheds light not only on the mundane aspects of domestic life but also on the broader socio-political landscape of the Byzantine Empire. The practices surrounding cushion care, while seemingly trivial, reflect the intricate interplay of culture, economy, and governance that characterized one of history's most enduring empires. The dull history of Byzantine imperial couch cushion fluffing timetables and fabric care guidelines. Part 7: Regional Variations and Comparisons. In the expansive realm of the Byzantine Empire, the practices surrounding couch cushion fluffing and fabric care were not monolithic but instead displayed notable regional variations. The geographical expanse of the empire, stretching from the shores of the Aegean Sea to the fringes of the Black Sea, fostered a milieu of diverse customs that were influenced by local resources, climatic conditions, and the socio-political fabric of each region. In Constantinople, the heart of Byzantine power and culture, the cushion fluffing practices adhered to a rigorous, if often tedious, schedule dictated by the imperial court. Here, the preferred fabric was often a luxurious brocade, interwoven with gold thread, which demanded meticulous care. The cushions themselves, usually stuffed with down feathers sourced from the region's abundant waterfowl, were subjected to a bi-weekly fluffing regimen that involved a precise sequence of steps. These included removing the cushions from their respective sofas, shaking them vigorously to aerate the filling, and allowing them to bask in the sunlight for no less than 3 hours to ensure optimal freshness. Conversely, in the provinces of Asia Minor, where the economy was heavily reliant on agriculture, the practice of cushion care was less formalized. Local artisans typically favored simpler fabrics, such as wool or cotton, which required less stringent care. The fluffing schedule was often dictated by the agricultural calendar, aligning with the harvest seasons when households would be more occupied with farming tasks. This practical approach resulted in a more relaxed, albeit less effective, fluffing method, wherein cushions were often fluffed only on market days or during significant religious festivals. In contrast to the practices in the Mediterranean regions, the northern provinces exhibited even starker differences. The colder climates necessitated the use of thicker, heavier fabrics, often lined with fur or lined with burlap. Here, the notion of fluffing was not merely for aesthetic appeal but rather served a functional purpose of maintaining warmth. Records from the late 9th century indicate that in regions such as Thrace and Macedonia, cushions were routinely stuffed with hay or straw, which, although less comfortable, provided insulation against the harsh winters. The fluffing schedule in these areas was regimented to coincide with the solstices, with a peak in activity observed during the winter months, when the need for cozy furnishings was most pronounced. Part 8: Evolution over different time periods. The practice of couch cushion fluffing and fabric care has undergone significant evolution throughout the Byzantine period, reflecting broader societal changes and advancements in technology. In the early centuries of the empire, when artisan craftsmanship was paramount, cushions were often handmade, with each one embodying the unique characteristics of its maker. The stuffing materials, which ranged from straw to feathers, were largely dependent on local availability and the socio-economic status of the household. The Byzantine Golden Age, spanning from the 9th to the 12th centuries, heralded a period of substantial refinement in textile production. The introduction of advanced weaving techniques allowed for more intricate patterns and the widespread use of silk, which necessitated more detailed care instructions. The burgeoning trade network facilitated the importation of exotic fabrics from distant lands, such as Persia and India, further enriching the variety of materials available for upholstery. This era also saw the emergence of specialized guilds, which began to establish standardized practices for cushion care, leading to the formalization of fluffing timetables and fabric care guidelines. By the late Byzantine period, particularly during the 14th century, the social upheavals and economic challenges precipitated by external threats and internal strife led to a shift in domestic practices. With the decline of the imperial court's influence, many households adopted a more utilitarian approach to cushion care. The focus shifted from opulence to practicality, with an emphasis on durability over aesthetics. This transition was marked by a greater reliance on synthetic materials and a corresponding reduction in the regularity of fluffing schedules, as many families were forced to prioritize survival over luxury. Part 9: Bureaucratic Regulations and Laws. The Byzantine Empire was renowned for its intricate bureaucratic system, which extended its reach into the minutiae of daily life, including the care and maintenance of household furnishings. Various edicts and regulations were issued throughout the centuries to standardize practices across the empire. The Codex Justinianus, compiled in the 6th, each entry regarding cushion care included not only the date of fluffing but also notes on the condition of the cushions post-fluffing. This was crucial information, as it allowed households to monitor wear and tear over time, facilitating timely repairs or replacements. The use of colored inks to differentiate between types of cushions added an aesthetic dimension to these records, making them not only functional but also visually appealing. Moreover, the advent of the notarius, a professional scribe, in the 9th century enhanced the precision and detail of these records. Notarii were trained in the art of documentation and were responsible for ensuring that all entries were made with the utmost accuracy. Their work provided a level of reliability that was essential for maintaining the standards set by imperial regulations. In conclusion, the Byzantine approach to the seemingly mundane tasks of couch cushion fluffing and fabric care was a reflection of the empire's overarching values, encompassing regional diversity, bureaucratic complexity, and logistical sophistication. The evolution of these practices over the centuries highlights the interplay between social status, culture, and the mundane aspects of daily life. The meticulous record-keeping and adherence to regulations reveal a society that, while often overshadowed by grand historical narratives, placed immense value on the art of domestic maintenance, ensuring that even the most trivial tasks were executed with a sense of purpose and dignity. The dull history of Byzantine imperial couch cushion fluffing timetables and fabric care guidelines. Part 9, Regional Variations and Comparisons. In the vast expanses of the Byzantine Empire, the practice of couch cushion fluffing and the related fabric care guidelines were not monolithic. Rather, they exhibited significant regional variations that reflected the diverse socio-cultural and climatic conditions of the various provinces. For instance, in the arid regions of Anatolia, where the climate necessitated the use of specific textiles that could withstand high temperatures, the guidelines for fabric care were considerably different from those in the more humid provinces such as Thessalonica. In Anatolia, linen and cotton were favored for their breathability, while in Thessalonica, heavier woolen fabrics dominated due to the moisture-laden air. Consequently, the fluffing techniques employed in these regions varied to accommodate the unique properties of the textiles used. In Anatolia, the fluffing was characterized by a methodical kneading approach that involved a series of compressions and releases designed to maintain air pockets within the cushions without compromising their structural integrity. Meanwhile, in the humid climate of Thessalonica, a more aggressive fluffing technique was employed, utilizing a series of high-velocity strikes that were akin to the motions of a blacksmith forging metal, intended to expel moisture and restore buoyancy to the cushions. Furthermore, the urban centers such as Constantinople presented a distinct contrast to the rural hinterlands in terms of fluffing practices. In the capital, where the aristocracy reveled in elaborate display and ostentation, the fluffing of cushions was often accompanied by ceremonial pomp. The introduction of specialized fluffing guilds further complicated the landscape, as they developed standardized timetables that dictated the optimal frequency of fluffing sessions based on the type of fabric and the number of inhabitants in a household. These guilds often kept meticulous records of fluffing schedules, which were then compared to those of their counterparts in other regions, leading to an ongoing dialogue about best practices. Part 10: Evolution over different time periods. The evolution of couch cushion fluffing practices over different time periods within the Byzantine Empire is a topic rich with nuance. Initially, during the early Byzantine period, circa 330 to 600 CE, fluffing was a rudimentary practice, often performed by household slaves or lower-class individuals. The cushions were primarily made from natural fibers, and the fluffing process was labor-intensive, often involving the use of simple tools such as wooden paddles or the hands of the fluffer. As the empire progressed into the Middle Byzantine period, circa 600 to 1200 CE, the introduction of more sophisticated textiles, including silks imported from the East, necessitated a re-evaluation of fluffing techniques. The burgeoning wealth of the Byzantine aristocracy led to the establishment of elaborate domestic spaces, complete with specialized areas for the display and use of cushions. During this time, the guidelines for fabric care began to include specific recommendations for the cleaning and maintenance of these luxurious materials, often incorporating oils and fragrances that were sourced from afar. By the late Byzantine period, circa 1200 to 1453 CE, the influence of foreign cultures, especially the Crusaders and later the Ottomans, further transformed the practices surrounding couch cushion fluffing. The introduction of new materials, such as synthetic fibers, led to the development of novel fluffing techniques that included the use of mechanical devices. The time-honored tradition of fluffing by hand began to be supplemented by these innovations, reflecting a broader trend toward efficiency and productivity that characterized the late medieval period. Part 11: Bureaucratic Regulations and Laws. The Byzantine Empire was renowned for its intricate bureaucracy, and the regulation of couch cushion fluffing was no exception. Various edicts were issued over the centuries that sought to standardize practices across the empire. The most notable of these was the Imperial Edict on Domestic Comfort, issued in 1095 CE, which mandated specific fluffing timetables for all households within the capital. This edict outlined precise intervals for fluffing based on the type and weight of the cushions, thereby aiming to ensure consistency and quality across the imperial residences. In addition to timetables, the edict also delineated the qualifications required for those engaged in the profession of fluffing. A series of examinations were instituted, evaluating both practical skills and theoretical knowledge of fabric care. The bureaucratic apparatus even established a certification system, analogous to modern-day licensing, wherein only certified fluffers were permitted to operate within the confines of the imperial city. This regulatory framework not only elevated the status of the profession but also ensured a baseline of quality and adherence to the established fluffing guidelines. Moreover, the Byzantine legal code included provisions for the punishment of negligence in fluffing practices. There were stipulations that if a household's cushions were found to be inadequately fluffed during a royal inspection, the owner could face fines or, in extreme cases, social ostracism. Such measures underscore the importance placed upon domestic comfort and the societal expectations associated with proper fluffing. Part 12: Supply Chain and Logistics. The supply chain surrounding couch cushion fluffing and fabric care in the Byzantine Empire was a complex network involving the procurement of materials, the production of textiles, and the distribution of both cushions and fluffing tools. The empire's extensive trade routes facilitated the importation of exotic fibers. Finally, the methods employed for record-keeping regarding couch cushion fluffing and fabric care guidelines are emblematic of the Byzantine emphasis on documentation and administrative efficiency. The establishment of codices and scrolls detailing fluffing timetables, fabric care techniques, and the outcomes of inspections conducted by guild officials represented an early form of bureaucratic diligence. Scribes, often trained in the meticulous art of record-keeping, would compile these documents, ensuring that the knowledge was preserved and accessible for future generations. Records were categorized not only by the type of fabric or fluffing technique but also by geographic location and the corresponding regulations in place. This system of organization allowed for comparative analysis, enabling officials to identify trends or deviations in practices across different regions. Furthermore, the use of wax tablets and styluses for temporary records allowed for the rapid documentation of findings during inspections, which could later be transcribed into more permanent formats. The meticulous nature of these records extended beyond mere fluffing procedures. They often included anecdotal evidence of societal attitudes toward domestic aesthetics, highlighting the cultural significance placed on such seemingly trivial activities. The archival materials thus serve as a rich tapestry of information that, while ostensibly mundane, provides invaluable insights into the social fabric of Byzantine life. In conclusion, the exploration of regional variations, the evolution of practices over time, bureaucratic regulations, supply chain logistics, and record-keeping methods within the realm of couch cushion fluffing and fabric care guidelines reveals a surprisingly intricate narrative. This ostensibly dull topic underscores the broader social, cultural, and economic currents that characterized the Byzantine Empire, inviting us to reconsider the significance of domestic practices in shaping the historical landscape. The dull history of Byzantine imperial couch cushion fluffing timetables and fabric care guidelines. Introduction. In the vast and intricate tapestry of Byzantine history, where emperors rose and fell, alliances were forged and broken, and theological debates raged, there lies a remarkably overlooked yet crucial aspect: the meticulous regulations surrounding couch cushion fluffing and fabric care within the imperial court. This detailed examination aims to shed light on this seemingly mundane yet surprisingly complex area of Byzantine life, revealing how even the fluffiest of cushions played a role in the grand narrative of an empire. 1. Minor historical figures and their roles ****. The history of couch cushion fluffing cannot be recounted without acknowledging the lesser-known figures who played pivotal roles in establishing and maintaining the fluffing timetables and fabric care guidelines. One such figure is Agapitos, the imperial fluff supervisor during the reign of Emperor Justinian I, 527 to 565 CE. Agapitos, whose title was an amalgamation of both fluff and care, had the monumental task of overseeing the plush seating arrangements in the Great Palace of Constantinople. Though his name may not echo through the halls of history, his detailed records of fluffing practices reveal much about the cultural importance of cushion maintenance. In a lesser-known decree, Agapitos stated in 546 CE, "Let it be known that all cushions of the imperial chamber must be fluffed thrice upon the rising of the sun and once more before the evening meal, lest the emperor's repose be marred by an unseemly lump." This decree not only underscores the significance placed on comfort in imperial life but also the rigid adherence to timelines that governed even the most domestic of tasks. Another notable figure was the fabric artisan Helena of Nicomedia, who was responsible for the procurement and maintenance of the textiles used in imperial upholstery. Her meticulous attention to detail in selecting fabrics that were both aesthetically pleasing and durable laid the groundwork for the imperial guidelines. In a letter dated 560 CE, Helena wrote, "The softness of the silk is paramount. Let not the emperor find his seat a source of discomfort, for such is the fate of an empire diminished by ill-fitted cushions." 2. Specific case studies with dates ***. To illustrate the historical evolution of cushion care, one must examine specific case studies of imperial decrees and their implications on the daily lives of courtiers and servants. A significant moment occurred in 582 CE when Emperor Maurice enacted the cushion fluffing edict. This edict mandated that all courtiers must undergo training in the art of fluffing, ensuring that they could provide immediate assistance should the emperor require a fluffing at an inopportune moment. The edict stated, "Let every noble be instructed in the art of fluffing, that no imperial cushion may suffer the indignity of being lumpy, for such is the path to disfavor in the eyes of the sovereign." This directive not only formalized the act of fluffing but also reinforced the hierarchical nature of Byzantine society, where even the act of fluffing was imbued with importance. Another noteworthy event transpired in 740 CE during the reign of Emperor Leo III. Following a particularly harsh winter that resulted in the deterioration of many couch fabrics, Leo III ordered a comprehensive review of the imperial fabric care guidelines. This review led to the establishment of the Winter Fabric Care Protocol, which required all fabrics to be treated with an oil-based solution before the winter months. The protocol included instructions such as, for silks, a light rub of olive oil shall be applied, while woolen fabrics shall be soaked in a mixture of water and vinegar for resilience against the cold. 3. Comparative analysis with other regions ***. When comparing the Byzantine imperial couch cushion fluffing practices with those of other regions, one finds a fascinating divergence in cultural attitudes toward comfort and aesthetics. The Sasanian Empire, for instance, had a more relaxed approach to fabric care, often prioritizing durability over fluffiness. Their cushions, known as dasters, were less frequently fluffed and instead allowed to settle naturally, reflecting a different cultural value system that esteemed ruggedness over opulence. In contrast, during the Tang dynasty in China, 618 to 907 CE, the approach to sitting in comfort was similarly meticulous but infused with a philosophical dimension. The Chinese placed significant importance on the harmony of the living space, which included careful selection of cushion placement and orientation. This led to the Cushion Harmonization Directive, where cushions were not only fluffed but also arranged according to geomantic principles, ensuring that the space was conducive to tranquility and balance. The Byzantine approach, as established through the fluffing edicts and fabric care guidelines, thus highlights a unique blend of practicality and aesthetic consideration. The careful regulation of cushion care reflected not only the wealth and power of the Byzantine emperors but also their deep-seated desire to project an image of comfort and luxury within the imperial court. 4. Archaeological findings and interpretation. As you close your eyes tonight, I invite you to carry this sense of calm with you. Allow the soothing rhythm of our narrative to wrap around you like a soft, plush cushion, inviting you to sink into a restful state. Let any worries of the day drift away as you embrace the tranquility that comes from knowing that even the dullest aspects of life can hold rich stories and lessons, if only we take the time to notice. If you find yourself yearning for a moment of relaxation or wishing to revisit the peaceful tales we've shared, remember that you can always replay this soothing journey. Each listen can offer you a fresh perspective or simply a comforting backdrop as you drift off into slumber once more. So, as the final notes of our story fade into the quiet of the night, may your dreams be filled with soft fabrics and gentle fluffing, a serene reminder of the care and love that surrounds us in our everyday lives. May you find yourself cocooned in warmth and comfort, safe in the knowledge that tomorrow brings new opportunities to embrace the beauty of life's simple pleasures. Good night, dear listeners. Sweet dreams await you.